Coloring books are fun. Yes, but let's be honest. Most of them end up in a pile somewhere or in the recycling bin. What if you could make something that actually stays? A permanent coloring canvas that your kids or grandkids could paint, frame, and hang up for years to come. Today I'm going to show you how to use the laser to trace a design onto a blank canvas, turning it into your very own paintable masterpiece. And here's the twist. This is not just for kids. This is like the adult coloring book's cooler, more useful cousin. You don't need to know how to draw a stick figure to save your life. I don't either. This is for anyone who wants to just relax, get a little creative, or just try something new without the stress of perfection. And the best part? Well, it is very easy, it is fun, and yes, it makes a pretty amazing gift.
Before we get anywhere near the laser, let's talk about canvases. And I'll say this up front. The best time to check your canvas is still in the store. You never know how many times it's been dropped, flipped, or lovingly mauled by other customers. Trust me, store lights lie. They hide dents like a bad haircut hides behind a hat. I always pull out my flashlight at the store. I've seen people give me the looks, but I tell you what, those people go home with warped canvases. I go home with winners. For this type of work, I prefer canvas panels over stretch ones. They are sturdier, stack better, and if one warps a little bit, you can usually fix it by stacking some books on top for a couple of days. Plus, no stretch bounds, and that matters with the lasers. But because you're family, I will test both types, the panel and the frame type. Don't mention it. Once you picked up a good one, give it a wipe with a microfiber cloth. I've skipped this step before, and it shows. For the artwork, I pull a few designs from Creative Fabrica. Dinosaurs, mandalas, summer themes, all kinds of good stuff. These make great projects for both kids and adults. These beautiful detailed mandalas, they are way too advanced for me personally, but I know that there are plenty of talented people out there who will love that kind of challenge. I will link Creative Fabrica down below if you want to browse. I brought the designs into xTool's creative space. Some were SVGs, some were PNGs. If you're new to XCS, I've got a couple of beginners videos to walk you through the basics. You'll find those in the cards and in the description below. And yeah, I went with a dinosaur brushing its teeth. Not only it was cute, but my daughter loves brushing her teeth, and we've kind of turned that into a fun little family ritual. So I figure why not laser that memory into canvas, right? One idea I think is really nice is to give this canvas as a gift set, right? Where you give the engraved canvas and also the colors. Whether you put together the paint tubes plus the brushes or the pens as a nice gift set, I don't think you can go wrong either way. Now, before I engrave or trace anything, I run a material test every single time. It's not just paranoia, it saves canvases and my sanity. If it is a new design, new material, or I haven't engraved this kind of projects before, I test it out. I tested on both raw and painted canvases, using engraving and scoring. Different powers, speed combos, bitmaps, the works. I even ran test grids with stars and crop sections of the real design. I started with low power and high speed. That usually gives me clean results without burning. Raw cotton canvas, though, it is inconsistent. One spot is perfect, another one is too dark, and another one barely engraves at all. I tried different bitmap modes and ended up liking Jarvis best. It gave better contrast and detail. Grayscale also worked, but again, raw canvas doesn't react evenly to the laser. Write in the comments what your preferences might be. In my case, what I'm looking for is a clean line. Not too deep, not too faint, and definitely not burnt through. Think of it like tuning a guitar, right? You got to get it just right before the performance. This is why we do testing. Check out this canvas getting burned right through. This was the score setting, just like I did before, but it went right through. I did do an engraving on that area before, even though the power was too low and perhaps the speed too fast. It must have weakened that section, and this is why the score setting still managed to cut a hole. It happens. When it was time to engrave the full design on the raw canvas, that's the canvas without any treatment, I turned off air assist. That's critical. Air assist blows the soot right back into the canvas fibers, and you get this ugly brown halo around your lines. With air assist off, the lines stayed cleaner. But man, the smell of burning canvas is really strong. The results were hit or miss. Some lines were bold and easy to see, others were faint and I had to squint. Darker areas like eyes or small details burned pretty deep, and I was worried about punching through. But I pressed on and started painting with acrylic pens. They're great for tight areas, but because the surface is delicate, the tip would sometimes pull little bits of canvas loose. And yeah, I may have splattered black paint across the canvas by accident while shaking the pen. Let's call that texture. You gotta be careful with these pens. If you press a little too much, all that paint just comes out running, and most likely will ruin your day. After seeing how the raw canvas was not going too well, I decided to prep some canvas panels with 2 coats of white acrylic paint. Same method I use in my painted canvas engraving videos, which I will link up here. I let them dry overnight before engraving. Engraving on painted canvas, well, that's much more consistent. Same settings, no air assist, and the results were cleaner with fewer surprises. The contrast was better, and the surface didn't get damaged as easily. Painting over the engraved lines on painted canvas was a much better experience. The surface felt smoother, the pen flowed better, and any stray paint was easier to fix. And this time, no surprise splatters. I was extra careful. So, which one is better, raw or painted canvas? Honestly, painted canvas 100%. It gives you more control, cleaner lines, and a fewer frustrations. That said, the raw canvas had a charm of its own, though. Just be prepared to test, experiment, and possibly redraw some lines afterward. If it was me starting over again, I wouldn't even bother with the raw canvas, to tell you the truth. I would just do 2 coats of white paint to protect the canvas and also to give me a bit more room to play with things. Now, the wife said that you can use glitter paint. I know that I've seen some fancy metallic colors, glow in the dark, or those pearlescent finishes, right? This is one of those projects that really flexes to match your vibe. It is relaxing, creative, and just structured enough to help you feel confident if painting feels a little intimidating. But don't think it's just for kids. This is perfect for adults too. Pour a cup of coffee or a glass of your favorite refreshment, and you got yourself a relaxing evening. Think of it as training wheels for painting. The laser does the drawing, you bring the color. And here's how mine turned out. Not too bad, right? I might even frame this one. Now, yeah, you could just buy a coloring book, right? But how many of those make it into your wall or get saved for years? A laser trace canvas is completely different. It's a conversation piece. It's art. It lasts. And unlike engraving, where pressing start on the laser is the finished line, here pressing the start button is just the beginning. The magic happens when someone else picks it up. Your kids, your grandkids, maybe even you, and then adds the color. And that's what makes this special. It is not just an art project, it is an invitation. An invitation to collaborate, to create, and to make something meaningful together. Now I want to know what you think. Would you go with the raw canvas or play it safe with paint? And what designs would you love to engrave in color? Something for your kids or maybe a mandala to zone out with a little me time? Drop your ideas in the comments. I really do read them, and a lot of my projects start from your suggestions.
So next time you want to make something fun, meaningful as I said, or just want to unwind with a brush in one hand and a glass of wine on the other, or coffee, right? Try this. It is perfect for family projects, thoughtful gift, or even that personal creative time when you just don't want to start from a blank page. As always, I will link everything I've used down in the description below, from the canvases to the acrylics to the creative fabric I designed. And if you use those links, it really helps support this channel, and I truly appreciate that. This channel's grown because of your ideas, your questions, and more importantly, your encouragement. You're not just viewers, you are part of the process. And this project started with one of you. So take the baton, make something beautiful, and when you do, please tag me. I would love to see what you have created. Thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next one. So long!